Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on the Island Boys yet again, this time more specifically, Fly Soldier, who apparently snitched on a child killer that was arrested inside of his house. Friday, February 4th, 2022, a small group of kids, all siblings, were playing in front of their family's home, not knowing the vehicle coming down their street would forever change their lives. Gunshots started booming, and at only 8 years old, a young girl began rushing a younger niece to get in the house. It was 7:15 p.m. when a 911 call went out, reporting that 8-year-old girl had been shot multiple times, collapsing on the steps of her front porch. Deputies arrived at the home on 1st Street in Belle Glade, Florida, finding the young girl critically wounded as a helicopter life-flighted her to the nearest hospital. Ronzaya Atkins was later pronounced dead. The shooting was a confirmed drive-by. Authorities now investigating if another member of the household was being targeted. For the next 3 days, gang unit detectives would gather as much information as they could find. A $25,000 reward leading to the arrest of the shooter was being offered, and cooperating witnesses were able to provide enough information that a suspect was identified. February 7th, Palm Beach County detectives contacted Broward County sheriffs for assistance, and the Coral Springs SWAT team was activated to execute a search warrant. The $1.2 million home being targeted by SWAT was located in the falls of Heron Bay, a luxury gated community. As heavily armed SWAT members made their way to the back of the home, they advised on the radio they observed a black male with twists in his hair get up from the couch in the back living room area and begin to make nervous movements around the couch. He was later identified as 21-year-old Andrew Thomas, their murder suspect. Andrew left the living room, running towards the front of the home as SWAT began knocking and announcing their presence at the front door. He was then seen running through the kitchen and into the north side of the residence. SWAT entered the home, placing Andrew in custody without issue, and spoke with the home's renter, Alex Venegas, who's more commonly known as Fly Soldier, the Island Boy. Alex told SWAT when he heard them at the door, Andrew ran towards him in the hallway holding a black Glock with an extended magazine. Alex stated Andrew tried to give him the weapon, telling him to hide it, but Alex refused and told Andrew to get away from him. He then watched as Andrew ran into the laundry room and returned without the gun. As sheriffs searched the home, they recovered the Glock 19 with an extended magazine inside of the laundry room closet. It was loaded with 13 live rounds and has been transferred for processing to determine if it was the murder weapon used in the drive-by. A records check for Andrew revealed he was a convicted felon on probation for robbery with the weapon. Back in 2019, a woman contacted Palm Beach County sheriffs stating she'd been robbed at knife point after attempting to sell a cell phone in an apartment complex. She was able to provide the robber's cell phone number and Facebook, which was named Elami Escobar. Detectives searched the number, finding 2 previous incidents, one of which being 3 mixed-race males were involved in an altercation with another male. Andrew Thomas, who was one of the males involved, had provided his number in the written report. A second incident was the theft of an iPhone. A female victim reported she was selling an iPhone through Facebook to a man with the name Elami Escobar. She met with the male who asked to hold the phone and walked away, claiming he was going to connect it to the Wi-Fi to make sure it worked. He never returned, and the case would later be inactivated after failed attempts to contact the victim. With the suspect identified, investigators showed his picture to the knife robbery victim, who positively identified Andrew as the one who held a 2 to 3 inch blade to her face before grabbing the phone and running off. Contact was made with Andrew's mother, who come to find out was a Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office employee. She notified investigators when Andrew came back to her home, and she allowed them in as they made their way to Andrew's room. The room was empty, his mother now looking for him as she noticed the door to the garage was locked. Officers announced themselves, commanding him to come out, and he eventually did as officers explained his charges. Andrew would say he didn't know what they were talking about before saying, "Just take me to jail." Andrew would remain incarcerated in the Palm Beach County Jail for the next 326 days before being sentenced to 364 days in the county, therefore avoiding a prison sentence by 1 day. With the 326 days credit, he'd only have to serve 38 more days in jail, followed by 6 years of probation. 7 months after his release, he'd violate his probation, serving 80 days in the county jail and avoiding prison for the second time, as he was sentenced to 9 months in jail for the violation and released on his original 6 years of probation. Once again, just over a half a year later, he's now back in custody. Because of his previous conviction, Andrew was charged by Broward County with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, as well as violating his probation for the second time. On top of that, in Palm Beach County, he faces first-degree murder with the firearm for the death of 8-year-old Ronzaya, first-degree attempted murder for her sibling who was outside at the time of the shooting, and felon in possession of a firearm. Fly Soldier is an apparent childhood friend of the murder suspect, and the two can be seen in a post from 2021 at Johnny Dang's jewelry store in Houston, Texas. Andrew had apparently stayed at Fly Soldier's home for the last 2 days before being captured. What isn't known at this time is what evidence is connecting Andrew to the shooting other than witness cooperation, and that in itself is interesting as the mother of 8-year-old Ronzaya is friends with the murder suspect on Facebook along with multiple mutual friends, meaning the alleged killer knew everyone in the house he allegedly fired into. And if that's the case, it's likely Andrew got into it with one of the younger males residing in that house, killing Ronzaya in the process, and family members were easily able to identify Andrew as the shooter. He now faces the possibility of death if he's convicted. Now, first and foremost, this video isn't about Fly Soldier. Did he snitch? I mean, technically, yeah. You know what I'm saying? He flat out told the police. He came at me with a gun, told me to hide it. I told him I didn't want to do that shit, right? Is it that big of a fucking deal? I mean, we're talking about the Island Boys. Nobody took them serious as being gangsters, and they went on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast or whatever, and they were like, oh, I'm really like that, or whatever the fuck they said. No one takes them serious. When they're outside, they got dumb security, and when they don't have security, there's videos of what happens, right? They get ran down on. So nobody took them that serious, and nobody expects them to be gangster. At the end of the day, he didn't have to say anything. He could have just let the investigation play out. But he decided to say, look, I don't know what the fuck's going on. He tried to give me the gun. I didn't take it. But the purpose of the video is the fact that this kid who's known for robbing females for cell phones, some real bum shit, his mother works for the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. He's doing these little robberies. Somehow he gets spared from prison. Me personally, I think it's police privilege, right? Because if his mom wasn't working for the sheriffs, I mean, this is a young black kid from South Florida, Belgrade, it's the fucking hood. I'm surprised he didn't get hit with like 20 years off rip. So it sounds a little weird. He probably had a lawyer, right? He ends up getting probation. If you don't know, if you get sentenced to 365 days in the state of Florida, your ass is going to prison. You get 364, you're going to county jail. He was able to not go to prison. He's on probation. Violates, still doesn't get sent to prison, police privilege, and then fucks up again and apparently kills an 8-year-old kid, right? If he was properly convicted on an armed robbery with the fucking weapon, he would have never been free to allegedly commit this shooting, right? The only evidence that I know of right now tying him into this murder is the witness cooperation. We don't know if he was the shooter. We don't know if he was the driver. We don't know if he was the shooter and the driver. You know what I'm saying? We don't know those details. All we know is somebody told on him, and I guarantee you it's somebody from that household. I say that because they all know each other. He follows the little girl's mother. She follows him. He follows the brother. He follows the sister. He follows the cousin. They all fucking know each other. And to be honest with you, Belgrade ain't that big. So they're either related, friends, whatever the fuck it is, but I guarantee you he got into it with one of the youngins in that house, shot the house up and hit the little girl. Allegedly, this is according to a news reporter, the house was shot up again the following night. I couldn't find any reports confirming that. Other than the news reporter who, you know, from time to time they get shit wrong. But we're just gonna have to see how this plays out. So to sum it all up, Fly Soldier did tell, but I mean, 90% of y'all watching would have did the same fucking thing. And this other kid, literally every single victim in his rap sheet has been a female. 2 females he robbed for cell phones, and an 8-year-old little fucking girl. But I'm gonna keep y'all updated on the case. I just waited for the paperwork to come out on this one, so I have all the facts together. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.